So, what do you know about the government shutdown?
Well, I know that the House Republicans and Senate Democrats can't seem to reach an agreement.
Pretty much the government is not running at the moment, but a lot of the non-essential
Services that are normally funded by the federal government, which are deemed to be non-essential, have been discontinued temporarily.
Down.
Certain programs of the national government, like the ones that are absolutely dysfunctional without certain other government programs, are all shut down.
Because we're haters. We're a state agency. We're a public school for the state of Iowa. So it's not about being haters or players. So that's the reason why. But I'm a state employee by the state of Iowa. If the state budget went into a shutdown mode, then that could have an effect on the students.
What do you think are some solutions to the government shutdown?
I've heard a lot of people say they think we should just lock everyone in a room and make them decide before letting them out.
They should just sit in a room and figure it out.
The government needs to come to more compromises.
Yeah, cooperation in Congress would be a big part of the solution.
Honestly, I'm conservative, but I think the Republicans are just being stupid right now because Obamacare is mandatory spending, as I believe, so they're not really doing anything by shutting the government down. I think the best thing to be would be reopen the government.
And efforts to defund Obamacare by taking away the tax revenue measure related to medical devices is something that some folks, mostly in the Republican Party, would like to see happen, because one of the major sources of funding for Obamacare is the tax revenue generated from an increase on the medical devices that are sold. And as you might imagine, the interest groups and lobbyists for the medical device industry are pretty fierce in their opposition to that. And so they have latched on to some Republicans, for the most part, who, not all Republicans, but mostly Republicans who don't like Obamacare more generally and see this as an effort to what they call defund it.
What is your opinion on a solution to the government shutdown?
My opinion, like what they should do?
Yes.
Oh, good heavens, I don't have the slightest idea. It's a little bit more complicated than it probably seems to most people. I see it as a part of the political process that reflects a lack of consensus in the public. And so when people get angry about Congress and we see their approval ratings for Congress drop to 11% and Republicans and Democrats in Congress taking a hit with their popularity ratings, I think there is, to a degree, just a reflection in those parties, different priorities in the electorate. Long-term effects of this particular shutdown, I think this will be a non-answer, but I think it depends on whether or not on how they resolve it. If they resolve it by just pushing for another year, another 6 months, debt ceiling limits, and discussions about entitlement programs and revenues, then I think if we can say a year is long term, then what we'll see is the same thing that we saw in 2011 and 2012 and 2013 with businesses, be it Main Street businesses or Wall Street businesses. I think they want there to be a more predictable process that has less yearly contention.